Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Good
Live.
evening,
Good evening.
everyone. Sergio Lunel,
Just
let's
waiting for
go.
Facebook to connect. I think we are ready to go live on Facebook as well. This is always a little bit of delay.
Well, on YouTube, we are already live,
Yeah, yeah, I
and now
already
let's.
got notification over here. So, how have you been, guys? Good evening.
Well, quite warm today.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, I was.
and today I went to the Douro Valley and I got hit with 40 degrees Celsius, which is always nice, 105 Fahrenheit. So, yeah, that's how things go.
It's always good, you know. Well, today I
Uh,
was outside as well. So some servicing on the van and such, and other stuff to deal with. But well, here we are. So ready to rumble, ready to roll, and ready to get to another unplugged live. So welcome everyone. As you see by the description or the caption, I'm Leonel Rodrigues from Desirable Portugal Tours. With me, Gabriel Lima from GL Tours in the Algarve,
Hi
and
there.
Sergio Costa from Portugal EV Tours near Porto. And we are back to our Unplugged Live sessions. We are just going to discuss the heat that is arriving, the peak season that is arriving. August is just around the corner, and of course, it's still possible to enjoy a great time over here. But there's always some recommendations and some things we need to be careful with. And Sergio, you might be entering already that those 3 months of hell that people like to mention, the 9 months of winter, 3 months of hell on the Douro Valley. So, I'm going to start with you. What
Uh,
do you have to say?
Guys, just 1 second before go to you, Sergio. Just a small reminder: if you are watching us, I don't know, maybe from your work or something, and you can't hear us, you can turn on the captions, and then you can see what we are talking about. Okay, go ahead, Sergio. It was just a reminder.
So, good evening, everyone. Again, I'm Sergio. I'm based over here in the north. Porto is my home, Douro Valley is my backyard. And if you have any questions, don't forget to ask them. Feel free to post in the comments down below, and we will do our best to answer them over here live in our chat. So, yeah, the topic for tonight, we basically discussed the peak season on our previous session. And we were talking a little bit about how things are changing a little bit. We're seeing more people traveling in what is supposed to be the shoulder season. But, for the most part, people still think of June, July, and August as the peak season. And for me, being based at the Douro Valley, even September and going a little bit into early October, it's still peak season because of the harvest over here. But as you mentioned, Lionel, we have the 3 months ahead of hell right now, and we've been experiencing that for a couple of weeks. So it's always important that we talk about things to, or good practices to tour safely and comfortably when enjoying the heat. Well, and what I'm going to say is, what I'm going to start with is actually by doing a bit of a contrast. I introduced myself as being the guy from Porto, saying that Porto is my home. And over here, because we are close to the Atlantic, it's actually still very fresh. Temperatures over here don't rise very much. It makes for a very pleasant stroll. Sometimes the humidity can get a little bit to you because, again, due to the proximity to the ocean, it actually feels a little bit warmer than what it actually is, but it's nothing unbearable. Porto, at most, usually over here gets up to 35 degrees Celsius. That's what we got over here today in the city. I think it was around 33, 34 official temperature, but feels just that little bit extra warmer just because of the humidity. Other than that, we have nice, cool Atlantic breeze blowing throughout the city. So stick to the coastal area of Porto. Enjoy, for example, Foz, enjoy Ribeira. Even the area just slightly north of Porto, there is over there the Garden of Passeio Alegre and Avenida Brasil, which is a very beautiful promenade leading all the way up to Matosinhos. You have the city park of Porto, the largest urban park in the country, which actually connects directly to the ocean. And then venture a little bit further up, and you have the Matosinhos Beach, which is one of the largest over here in the north of the country. So yeah, there's plenty of options. A coastal getaway, I would focus a little bit more on sticking to the shoreline, sticking to the coast. City centers can be a little bit warmer. Well, we have this sort of greenhouse effect because we're talking about buildings and we're talking about the streets, the asphalt that is collecting heat, it's releasing the heat. And if it's not a shaded area or at least with some trees nearby, can be a little bit more tricky. So this is for Porto. There's plenty of other places that you can explore out of Porto. For example, go up north where it tends to be a little bit fresher, where I like to talk a lot about Vila do Conde and Póvoa de Varzim. I know that Gabriel loves that a lot. We've been there a couple of years ago, going even all the way up to Viana do Castelo. And if you want to venture even further up, Caminha, Valença, very beautiful town. So the north is a gem waiting to be discovered, and it's not just about Porto or the Douro Valley. Speaking of the Douro Valley a little bit right now, well, I was there on tour today, and this is what I was telling my guests today that, well, as you mentioned, Lionel, 3 months of hell, we're right in the middle of it. Mm-hmm. And they were actually very surprised to learn that, well, I saw the forecast for the valley today, and the forecast was saying 34, 35 Celsius. And I always tell them that if the forecast says 35 Celsius, add another 5 degrees on top of that because of the unique microclimate that we have over there. It's always going to be quite a bit warmer than what the forecast is saying. And well, I saw temperatures of 40 degrees, so 105 over there at the valley today. And it was bearable, again, because of the very low humidity at the valley, but still people should take some precautions. And well, the river, I would say it's an absolute must. Ideally, you would do that early in the morning, later in the afternoon, so before 11 a.m. or after 5 p.m. I know that this makes for a very long day at the valley, but this actually ties into my second recommendation to enjoy the valley a little bit more properly. If you have the time, if you plan really well, spend a night over there at the valley because the nights are really amazing, particularly summer nights. It gets a little bit fresher, but at the same time, you still have the schist, the shale rock that retains a lot of that heat, and it still basically keeps the night very comfortable, slightly warmish with a very cool breeze passing. And it's, in my opinion, and well, take it with a grain of salt because I might be biased, but in my opinion, it's one of the best settings that you can have to enjoy the Douro Valley. So I would say that if you're coming to Portugal during the summer months, if you're still planning, if you're arriving this week, next month, even during the month of August, try to fit a night at the Douro Valley, and I can guarantee that you're not going to regret it. Because, well, being at the valley means that you can get an early morning and you can enjoy more of your day before the serious heat kicks in. And staying at the valley at night means that you have a couple of extra hours because most of the tours, they wrap up before 5 p.m. And by 5 p.m., I would say that 90% of people are already on the way back to Porto from their day trips. And after 5 p.m., that's when it really becomes more tranquil. That's when the weather starts getting a little bit better. And you no longer have those 40 degrees the 40 degrees Celsius that force you to stay indoors. To cool down at the valley, we have plenty of options. We have quite a few river beaches, even on the Douro River. And one of my favorites is precisely Sotelo do Douro in the area of São João da Pesqueira. Very beautiful, also slightly challenging access road. For people who know the region, basically you look at the Douro River, there is the Tua River in the north, the mouth of the Tua River, you cross it to the other side, and right in front you have the river beach of Sotelo do Douro. Then nearby, you also have the Távora River, which forms a lake near, I think it's Vila Verde. not entirely sure on this one. I'll have to double check the map. But Passadiço do Távora, the Távora walkways are very beautiful. Well, they were very beautiful. Unfortunately, they burned down with the forest fires of last year, and I don't think that they still are up and running once again. But at the very least, the area is also famous for the beaches. We also have another one that is one of my favorites, which is the dam of the Vilar Lake. And Vilar Lake, it's a little bit south, very beautiful. You have very decent infrastructure. It's near Penedono, with a beautiful castle, by the way. And it's a great departure from all of the wine tasting that people typically do over there at the valley. So there's plenty of options, plenty of alternatives. Don't forget the standard recommendations, the standard items like wear hats, sunscreen, take refillable water bottles and fill them up quickly or frequently, I should rather say. Travel light clothes that are going to be very airy, that will allow transpiration, the air to flow through your body. Um, that's basically it. There's nothing much more than we can add to this, but there's definitely a way to escape the heat at the Douro Valley, doing a little bit of sightseeing, engaging in some wine tasting at the same time. Gastronomic experiences are also very abundant. For example, right now it's the season for the figs, for the stone fruits. If you're coming in August, one of the things that we hold at the Douro Valley is a yearly festival, a competition between some of the vineyards of the valley. And they engage in this very friendly competition to see who is growing the best ox heart tomato. And they prepare the
Mm.
dishes based with that tomato. And well, last year, the winner of the 10th edition was the Ventuzilo estate in their cantina. And so you can expect some of the estates over there at the valley to offer dishes based around this very unique tomato variety for people who enjoy this. So lighter fruits, even though the Douro Valley is sometimes known for its a little bit heavier gastronomy, there's also plenty of light options over there. Farm to table is one of the things to look for, especially with the salads, some cold soups even. I know that it's not a big tradition over here in Portugal. We've been borrowing the gaspacho from the Spanish, but well, I'll admit it does taste good on a very hot summer day to have a cold soup at the valley with local and fresh ingredients. So there is a ton to choose from. Just, well, remember to be safe. And then we also have beautiful leisurely drives, the National 222 along the river, some of the most iconic viewpoints. It's a great way to just enjoy the views and take some very nice pictures. Very good climate. Obviously, the viewpoints at the valley they will be located at a certain altitude where the climate tends to be a little bit fresher. So that is also an alternative to do a little bit of sightseeing. So this is basically my take for what we can do in the north of the country, what we can do in Porto, and what we can do at the Douro Valley. What about you, Lionel? Any tips for Sintra or for Lisbon?
Well, yes. First of all, let me start by, well, exactly saying that what you were mentioning about microclimate of the valley being very hot. In this area, it tendentially goes to the opposite. So, Sintra is generally, during the summer, easily 8 to 10 degrees Celsius cooler than Lisbon. Of course, it gets quite hot with the crowds, I would say, because you have a lot of people going there. But it's tendentially cooler than Lisbon, in fact, and that is one of the reasons why Sintra became so popular so long time ago. So historically, was a summer retreat, in fact, and people were escaping from the heat to go there. And this is a good pick. In fact, it's to explore the areas around there. I'm not saying to go into the town, to spend the day in the town. You already have thousands of people doing so. But there are some beautiful coastal areas. There are some beautiful beach towns. Of course, There are some more secluded ones that, well, people still know about. Adraga Beach, it's always quite busy because parking it's somehow scarce. Praia das Maçãs now has become a little bit better. Parking is paid, so it tendentially ends up creating some rotation on the parking, and it has become easier to find a parking spot to go to that beach, although it's paid. Praia do Magoito, it's a little bit further north, and that one still has a lot of room for people to stay over there. I'm just mentioning, well, some of the most known um, beach names around Sintra. But in fact, there are plenty of places where people can go to just to well to explore, to walk around, to enjoy a quieter time. And we have a lot of picnic parks here and there through the country. We have a lot of areas that are under um, vegetation areas that are, in fact, with picnic tables. Some even have some outdoor barbecues. They have some, well, um, quite well reasonable facilities, and people don't know about them. Tendentially, people end up going all to the same place. Just a few days ago, I was exploring a few wineries, and I drove up to the top of the Monte Junto mountain. The Monte Junto mountain, it's a place that no one talks about. I grew up nearby, so for me, it's really, well, from my childhood time. We have some interesting monuments to visit over there, like the Royal Ice Factory. And in fact, the Royal Ice Factory was because it was an area that tendentially it was cool, so they were scraping the ice during the night and compacting it in the very deep well to store it for the warmer days, so the royalty would have cold beverages. Of course, we don't have those cooler days like we used to have back then, but during the summer, it's still considerably nice to be there on the shade. And to be outdoors on the top of the mountain doing some activities, and this happens a bit everywhere. Portugal, it's a country that has a lot of outdoor seating areas, a lot of outdoor picnic parks here and there. So people just need to search for those places to, well, bring a light snack, just spend a couple of hours relaxing at the nature, and well, enjoy some good time on the shade, because it helps, in fact, with this warmer weather. But closer to the coast, this is really something that a lot of people think that, oh, I just want to go to the beach, I will go directly to the Algarve. Well, curiously, according to the recent news, we've been having some warm streams here in central and northern Portugal, and people just need to assess what is pleasant or not, what is better or not to do, because we have long stretches of beach where no one goes there. We have long stretches of beach that are somehow easy to access. Of course, you might need to walk a little bit from where you park the car or so, but I see some places where people are just standing all next to each other, and then you just are like 3 4 kilometers away from well, a beach that you almost get for yourself. So this is where the local knowledge ends up helping, because we know a few more places that some people don't consider, and we have 800 kilometers of coastline, and tendentially at this time of the year, if you are closer to the coast, it will be one of the nicest areas to be, well, cooler. Okay, so as further you go inland, normally more warmer it gets. So if you are near the coast, it ends up being nicer. And then there are plenty of activities, plenty of places with outdoor pools, or with, well, some considerably nice pools, some somehow natural pools that exist. Unfortunately for many, the most popular, pool near Sintra, it's totally covered with sand this year, as Anhas do Mar has been totally covered with sand. But there are many other areas, and there are plenty of nice places for families with kids, by example, to go with the kids and to enjoy. I was not too far ago last week on tour towards Nazaré, and I stopped at Foz do Orelho. I was mentioning to my guests my wild childhood days, just being on the sand on the lagoon, and we were, well, digging on the sand and getting some shellfish, some clams, and all that. And pretty much those are things that well, I remember from those days. And the lagoon, it's quite nice, it's very pleasant. Some people that like some more water activities, like paddleboarding, kayaking, those kind of things, it all can be done over there. And tendentially these places end up being a very nice spot to escape from the heat. But we have so much around, so it's just what I see. It's that people only consider the busy places or the popular places they know. And by example, when we talk about going towards the ocean here from Lisbon, the only place that people mention is Cascais. Cascais, it's through the roof. Cascais, it's days that it cannot hold more people on the beach. It's kind of well, you just want to turn around on your towel and you just bothering the person well next to you already. So just well, explore a little bit beyond the obvious and search for other places, because we we have plenty of good spots to go. And then, well, as I mentioned, we have plenty of these forest areas, these green parks, these well, picnic spots. I have an article written about the parks in Lisbon that can also be a good option. So keeping on the recommendations, of course, of well, hydration and having well, enough water, and being well, careful with the sun exposure, sunscreen, all that. But it's more important sometimes to choose the right spot to be, because that will make a total difference. Nevertheless, August will be busy in many areas. There will be some very important events through the country. I remember you, well, you just mentioned earlier, Sergio, Viana do Castelo, mid August, Viana do Castelo will be very busy. The same way, we will be very busy, by example, in Ericeira with the local festivities, and the place goes crazy with the processions of the boats and all that. We are having an amazing event at Campo Maior. Festas do Povo de Campo Maior, pretty much they are inland, and that will attract thousands and thousands of people over there as well. So a lot of things that are happening through the country. So always, before you well decide to go somewhere, Google the destination, Google the place, and ask if there are events going on, because a lot of people, I see that they are getting surprised as we plan to go somewhere, and then they get surprised that well, there's too much people around, and the place, in fact, supposedly was going to be quiet, but they have an event just going on. So just
Just a
my
quick
take on
question,
this.
Lionel. Isn't the medieval festival happening in Óbidos right now?
Just finished
Okay.
yesterday. Finished yesterday. I took two families there over there, 8 people. I drove them over there, and then I needed to park my van strategically to get out of there, because I arrived. It was 11 a.m. and it was packed. It was crazy. But yes, it finished yesterday. But guess what? It seems we are having like 200 medieval festivals through the country. So I'm pretty sure that next weekend you're gonna bump into some other medieval festival somewhere.
Oh
But
yeah.
yes, good question. But yes, in fact, it's events everywhere. Gabriel, about you?
Well, medieval festival, Silvish, August 7th.
Oh yeah.
Before that, or before, no, and then later in August, or it's earlier. Well, I don't remember. Castro Marin too. But it's not just that. We're going to have the white party here in Paderna. There will be a, now on Wednesday, the 29th. We're going to have here in Galé Albufeira, one of the most beautiful sunsets. We're going to have the full moon party. So every year we have two parties on the beach with the white dress code, lots of room, the beautiful moon. Of course, it's a full moon party with some nice DJs too. So lots of room for families. Nothing crazy, just a very nice vibe. We are about to have now the Seafood Festival, Rio Formosa Festival in Faro, which is funny because it's not as popular as the Olhão Seafood Festival. But many people, they say, in many ways it's better because, well, you don't have to pay the interest, and it's a bit more authentic. It's not so touristy oriented with big bands or something. So it's something more typical. But they are both great. But there's more. I mean, it's August. It's the silly season, and you were talking about crowds in Lisbon. I mean, if you have crowds in Lisbon, imagine here because we are having now in
Mm.
August people from the
We,
Algarve, people from Lisbon, Porto, Braga,
we
from
usually say
Switzerland,
that
from
half
Paris.
of Lisbon goes. We usually
I
say
mean,
that half of
it's
Lisbon goes south in August.
all my life I've been hearing that one of the best months to visit Lisbon is August because there's less
Hmm.
people there, and it's true. But this year we are having even more, not more tourists, but I notice, for instance, the traffic a bit more chaotic. I mean, we all know that in the past 5 years we have lots of people moving here, immigrants, also expats. Many people they are renting cars. Many people they started their business. I don't know, driving Ubers, whatever. So what I notice is a big increase on traffic, and of course, there's always a clash here between locals who want to drive fast because they are working, they are maybe doing their deliveries, they are electricians, whatever. And then we have all these Sunday drivers because in August, every day is Sunday. And people, they are just enjoying their vacation. Like this is like a Disney park. And there's always a clash between everyone. And it's so funny because even yesterday I was driving here and I skipped the highway and the national, and we drove through back roads. And they noticed, okay, but this is not so hard to navigate here. And then I said, well, bear in mind that you are with a local guide because you don't see more people here because Google Maps doesn't tell you to come here. So I drove some roads that I drove Sergio 3 years ago, also through the Messines and Silves, really back roads. And then as soon as we enter back to Albufeira after lunch, and then I told the guys, I want to show a very beautiful beach here in Albufeira, close to your villa. So we went to a refuge in San Rafael, and then they had this impact with the reality. I mean, it's a wonderful spot, but Jesus, now it's unbearable. I barely could do the U-turn to get out from there. Of course, I couldn't park. I just waited near by the van. But yes, even then they notice, people, they go around the roundabout, then they turn left. Then we have lots of people nowadays without helmets, scooters, because again, we're having way more people moving to Portugal, and it's not their fault. But the local authorities, it looks like they forgot to do what they have to do. I mean, maybe I'm a bit unfair because there are not as many as they should, but it looks like nowadays no one respect the rules anymore. People driving without helmets, with phones, all these crazy scooters. But also, and I have to address this. Also, sometimes I see, sometimes I'm being kind. Every day I go on tour, I see people making U-turns on solid lanes, even though I can see the roundabout just 200 meters away. So it's a mess here. When it comes for driving in the Algarve, August is a mess. Also, the beaches, they are packed. The most popular beaches, they are all packed. Forget those kind of quaint, charming village of Ragudo, Alvor, Praia de Luz, even Fuzeta, Cabanas. Forget about it. I know I can be a very romantic guy too, and I can say, oh, it's very charming and quaint. Forget about it. In August, this is like it's like Disney. Seriously, I'm always talking about Disney because last year I went to Disney, and then I realized, okay, so now I understand why sometimes people they call the Algarve like a Disney in summer because it looks like Disney, very packed. But hey, just like all around the country, we still have room here, even empty beaches. But here's the deal. So many times, even here in our Portugal Unplugged, we have people asking, but Gabriel, where's a quiet beach? Well, I know where's the quiet beach. Oh, but we want some restaurants, some bars. Forget about it. No way. If you want to go to a place where you can enjoy the beach, you can hear the sound of the waves instead of the sound of the boat trips and all these activities in the water, or a bunch of kids screaming because that's what kids they do, right? We used to do the same. You have to pick up your umbrella, you have to pick up your cooler, you have to put there some beer, some water, maybe some sandwich, maybe some salads, and then you have to go away from the popular spots. But you have to know where to park, right? And you have to know where to go. And then there, maybe you have to walk a bit. Maybe you're gonna park not in parking lot with asphalt, but with some very thin sand. So, in short, you have to do some effort if you want to enjoy peace on the beach in summer. But we still have kilometers of empty beaches. Just think about the islands. Instead of driving or whatever, or rent a cars, just hire a private taxi, a boat taxi, like a boat taxi. For instance, you can take the ferry from Faro, from Olhão, from Fuseta, from Tavira, right, to visit here the islands. But they are packed too. I mean, not the beaches itself, but the ferries, they are packed. Then you have to wait on the way back. Sometimes you have to wait like 30, 40 minutes just to get a small boat to cross from Cabanas Island to Cabanas Village. So it's a bit it's a bit people, they get tired by the end of the day. But you can also call a boat taxi, and then usually you pay like 10 or 15 euros each way. If you are 4 or 5 people, I mean, they can take you to some spots where you can enjoy the beach on your own. But then here we go again. So you can't expect to come to the Algarve in the peak season and having like bars with just a few people or cafes and the beach not too busy. No, it doesn't happen. Actually, and you all know this, right? Especially where the Portuguese people they go, Quarteira, Montegordo, Armação de Pera, Praia da Rocha, because there's more offer. There are many buildings, many flats, apartments. It's a bit more affordable. So in those areas, I mean, it's unbelievable. It's big masses of people. Parking there is almost impossible. So we have a problem here that because some locals they start putting bottles of water, empty bottles of water, because they want to save their parking. Because of course after work they want to park and then they don't have park. It's really a mess here. But there are options. And even this week, well, I went with my family to a very nice river, not a river, actually, it's a spring with a beautiful beach, lovely facilities, very nice restaurant, great food, affordable. And it's a bit far from, the touristy areas here. I was just checking before I start talking. So from Albufeira, it's 1 hour 15. From Faro, 1 hour 10. From Tavira, 1 hour 15. From Lagos, it's 1 hour 45. But we went there and we enjoy not just the views along the way. It's a very beautiful scenic route, mountains and beautiful valleys, great views, and we enjoy a very lovely day without the crowds. And we have a few more river beaches. There's a new one now with the blue flag in Odeleite, the Odeleite Reservoir. Also, there's a nice one in Alcotim. And then, of course, also close to the Algarve in the Alentejo, we have a few Minas San Domingos, and then a bit further north, we have very nice fluvial, we call fluvial, so river beaches. But for instance, yesterday I had 6 people coming from the UK, and tomorrow I'm going to guide them again. And they asked me, Gabriel, we just want to get away from the coastline and we just want to see the countryside. We just want to drive through authentic, villages, spots. Well, we just did a tour, just 100 kilometers. I just went through Silves, Messinas, a nearby Halte. But I took these roads, I call back roads and off roads. Actually, we went through some off roads that I know because I do a mountain bike and hiking. And then they were absolutely, like, wow, we didn't expect this. By the way, the reservoir in Silva is still 100% full, which is amazing. It means we still have lots of water, and the water now very clear. There was people there doing paddling and kayak. So they were amazed, and then they thought, okay, so Gabriel, now I get it. When you say there are options, of course there are options, but people, they don't know. And many times people, they want to know, but they don't want to invest in order to know. Because, we put lots of effort to explore, to find all these places. And the truth is, maybe this is not going to sound popular, but if we come here and if we disclose everything, all itineraries and all single spots, well, I mean, maybe we're going to ruin some spots. And people, sometimes some people, they just keep saying that, who need locals, who need guides, we already know everything. And unfortunately, sometimes this happens. Sometimes we have entitled advisors and pseudo gurus, and they think local people. I mean, they are no one needs them. But that's when people they hire us. That's when they find out. Okay, so now I understand that you guys you really can offer something beyond the standard, something that goes way beyond, that feels way more authentic. So it's been a nice journey here. And tomorrow I'm going to do the same. So we go to a nice vineyard, and then I'm going to travel them to some other spots nearby Lole, some springs too. Alt is no longer a hidden gem, of course. Alt it's not. Lots of people go to Alt to the waterfall, but I know some others. But I'm not going to disclose here. But of course, if people they want to know all these spots, well, they just need to send me a message, and we're gonna make arrangements, and I'm gonna take them there. And guys, so basically this is it, right? We are expecting now very warm weather too, uh, warm nights. Nothing beyond normal, but it's going to reach maybe 38, 36, 34. Warm nights with minimum temperatures around 22, 24, especially in the eastern Algarve. The western Algarve is always a bit cooler. And well, just like in Sintra, just like in the west coast, so here when people they struggle with this extreme heat, the option is going to the west coast, Sagres, Algesur, Vila do Bispo, because there you can enjoy the breeze. The water is a bit more, of course, it's colder, but it feels good. I struggle with it. I mean, I can handle. I drink lots of water. I've been cycling and hiking all my life. I was born and raised in Faro. It becomes very warm at night. Faro, Tavira, they are actually warmer at night than Albufeira or Lagos. But it's something that I don't fancy anymore. And the I'm getting older, and it's getting harder and harder. So I just want some fresh air too. So we have options for everyone. All comes down to local knowledge. And this is what we try to help here on Portugal Unplugged. So we try to help people as much as we can. And that's what we're going to keep doing. Guys, so from my hand and about the Algarve, okay, we're gonna survive August. But like I said last week, we don't have as many people like other years. So maybe if you are thinking about coming to the Algarve, even though I told you about all these crowds here, get to know that there are some resorts in some places that I know they are not full, and they are offering now some special offers. And trust me, there are so many nice resorts with some nice beaches, and there are no crowds. I mean, just people from the resort. So I'm just inviting you to come, even though you're gonna face some crowds around here. But hey, it's summer. We have crowds everywhere, all over Europe. Guys, so from my hand, I think I said
Yeah.
everything.
Okay. So yeah, I'm just gonna pick up on a couple of things that both of you guys said. Gabriel, you mentioned Odolate. For me, that one actually has a much more beautiful meaning, because whenever people talk about the Odolate Dam and the lake over there, I'm always reminded of that picture that was taken a few years ago. And for those who don't know, it's the lake that looks like a dragon when seen from above, when seen from an airplane.
Mhm.
So it's actually very beautiful, and it's really nice. I would say that the closest equivalent that I have over here in the north is probably going to be the Sabor Lakes, which, well, I would love to go over there, but unfortunately, a large portion of the forest over there burned down 2, 3 weeks ago, which is
Yeah.
a big shame, because the area was absolutely gorgeous, beautiful, just untouched nature. And well, unfortunately, now it's going to take quite a while to recover all of that. The other thing, well, is I briefly mentioned some of the river beaches, and this is actually a very hot topic to cool down a little bit when you're traveling into inland Portugal, because we have these pockets of cold, fresh water, which sometimes you can actually bathe in them and then drink from that same water also, because it's running water. So, and it's very close to the spring. It's very fresh. In the Douro Valley area, you have the ones that are from the Alvão mountain range, particularly the Old River and Figueiras do Hermelo, very beautiful region, natural pools in the granite rock over there. Sometimes a little bit more challenging access. Going further north, you also have, well, the natural park of Peneda Gerês, the national park, I should say. It's the only national park that we have, and there's quite a few areas where you also have those natural swimming pools. It's good for hiking trail. It's good for the gastronomy. It's good to refresh a little bit. So carry a towel with you whenever you're going to any of these locations. And then there's probably, well, amongst Portuguese, the most famous river beach area, which is Luriga in Serra da Estrela.
Hmm.
So everyone that is a local talks about that one, the river beach of Luriga in Serra da Estrela, somewhat close to the mountain range in the Unhais da Serra area. So on the southern area of Serra da Estrela, very beautiful. And then you also have the H2 hotel nearby, which if you're in for something like a water treatment, spa, indoor heated swimming pool, and that actually has a window opening up to the outside, and you can have that fresh air just wrapping around you. It's good for both winter and summer. So if you're into wellness, rejuvenating experiences, and you fancy some water activities, that's actually a great area to be in. Lionel, final thoughts?
Well, yeah, you've been mentioning some great spots, and a little bit further south, there are others. Okay, um, there's a beautiful place near Belvedere that it's also great. That is Alamau, the river beach of Alamau. Then you have well other interesting places like Praia das Rocas. That is in fact well artificial beach in central Portugal. You have so many. You come to the areas around the Vila de Rei, in between Vila de Rei, Tomar, Ferreira do Zezer. That area, you have plenty of places. You have also well Castelo de Bó, the reservoir. You have Montargil reservoir. Um, it's pretty much well all over the country. We have amazing areas as river beaches or a kind of well a water reservoir, lake beaches, that are very nice places to go. And mostly you just see locals around there. If it's a weekday, most of these places are
Empty.
considerably quiet because tendentially the families only go to those spots on the weekends. And in fact, I remember some years ago, I had seen the River Beaches guidebook. So I think it's still being issued every year, a book with all the river beaches in Portugal that people really could check what existed, which facilities they had, and all of that. And well, there are some very unique places to go. I've just reminded another one. I go very often to this place, not to the beach itself, but to the schist village at Fragas de São Simão. So that is like 40 minutes north of Tomar. It's in between Tomar and Coimbra, just a slight detour from the highway. And you go to Fragas São Simão, you have a beautiful river beach and you have an amazing scenario. So it's totally worth to go to these places. So why just stand on crowded ocean beaches and overhyped and expensive coastal towns that have become very commercial and touristy when you just well can explore other areas inland and really enjoy the beauty of nature. But yeah, well, I think we covered a few topics in here. I think that we kind of
I'm
managed
just
to
going to drop
freshen up a little bit the mood. Sorry,
one
Sergio.
final one over here. I'm just going to drop a
Yeah,
final one over here. It's a little bit outside of my area, I would say, but it's a
yeah.
place that I absolutely love, and you all know what is
I
the
know.
lake that is right there. Montserrat,
Amazing.
Mourão, things like
Oh
that.
yeah. The the
So
the river beach of Mourão, that it's technically an island with a bridge. It's amazing. It's
yeah,
amazing that one. Yeah. I
so
I
yeah,
took guests
there's
I
quite a
took
few.
guests over there a few times.
Yeah,
Some
and I
some
was there 3 years ago. Very beautiful as
Yeah.
well.
sometimes the
Um,
issue in the Alentejo or even here Al Coutinho or where I've been now 2 days ago, I was telling Pat that I've been there 2 days ago, Michial in northern Lole municipality.
Mhm.
It's when we have the heat in Portugal, it becomes unbearable. I mean, while here we have 34, 36, there it's 42, 43, 40. It's really unbearable to stay even under the shade. But yes, it's an amazing. I love the Alentejo. Thank God it's very close to the Algarve. I mean, Portugal is a small country, but I also love the Alentejo a lot. I go there a lot for breaks, but usually I don't go in July and August. Usually we go in May, June, and sometimes October. It's the season. It's also more affordable and well, it depends now. I don't have much time on October, but yes, I try to go there sometimes in May, June for a break. I love to go there.
so you are basically one of the guys turning the shoulder season into the new peak season.
Definitely. I mean, if when we have a chance, I mean, for instance, even now it's the peak season madness, not right. So I'm gonna take say 6 days off with my family. We are going to nearby cabanas. We like to go there. The water is warmer. We already know everyone there. I mean, I'm a guide, so I know everyone in Yalgar. But even in the middle of the this small break vacation, I'm gonna have to come to Albufeira for one big tour because I mean I can just throw through the window one tour that gonna pay my week or part of my vacation. So I mean we are in trouble always. When we live in the Algarve, we are we have 30, 65 days of vacation, but we have also to work maybe always. I mean we don't have big breaks here in the Algarve, especially during the season. I'm always busy. I just need to block a few days and I just need to forget work, which is very easy to forget. But then by the end of the month, I remember, and then sometimes I have some regrets.
Well, guys,
Okay, here we go.
nice chat. 45 minutes. Uh, yeah, we've been doing some overtime. Well, from my end, I just want to thank everybody for watching. Thank you everybody who was commenting over here, Laurie, Pat, and so. And we'll see it back next week. So see you next week, guys.
Well, see you next week, everyone. Thank you for your comments, and guys, it's always a pleasure to talk with you, to chat with you. And well, we're gonna see you in a week. Well, maybe I'm gonna. Well, let's see where I'm gonna be for our. Maybe I'm gonna be by the pool or something with a cocktail. But I mean, it's gonna be
Okay.
August in the Algar. No one. I mean, I think you were just gonna embrace the vibe, right?
Yep. And well, as for me, I'm gonna say my goodbye by dropping just a very interesting nugget of information that I got earlier today. The vineyard that I use as a benchmark as to when the harvest starts at the Douro Valley, they are going to start their harvest this Thursday. So this will
Okay.
be the first time that I've ever heard about the harvest at the Douro Valley starting in
In
July.
July. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, just give
Okay.
me 30 seconds because we got here a question from Kerry Hernandez. Gabriel, I have to ask, what are those symbols in the background? Well, those symbols in the background, they came from Dominican Republic. When I met my wife 20 years ago, 1 year later, she went there and she brought me these beautiful pictures. And the symbols, well, it means, for me, it means whatever I want that means, right? It's just happiness. I know I can see maybe a volcano there or something. So there's no meaning except the meaning we gave to them. But I just love the pictures here. But it's not something like from 3,000 years ago or so. It's a beautiful picture from Punta Cana, and it was made about 19 years ago. And of course, it was a special offer from my wife, so I think it's a good idea to keep it here. Because she loves to see also these. Sometimes she see what I'm doing, and she feels proud because I'm sharing the picture too. Okay, guys. So bye bye. See you next week.
Guys, see you next week. Have a
See you next
great
week.
week.